Should someone be a sheriff if they're legally unable to carry a gun? That's a question some local voters will face in November. One man running for Botetourt County Sheriff is a felon and doesn't have his gun rights. 10 News reporter Tommy Lopez sat down with him as he opened up about his past.
Will Stowell says that he's fit to be sheriff here and that many felons like him are unfairly stigmatized.
Even in the back of my mind, when you hear a convicted felon, you think somebody's a murderer or a rapist or an arsonist, and that's not the case. You could become a convicted felon for drag racing.
He is a felon after a third DUI offense in 2015 landed him in jail. He's open about addiction, being an alcoholic for years after leaving the Air Force as a police officer. Stowell wants to carry the badge, even though he can't carry a gun.
Do you think that's a problem for a sheriff?
No, not at all.
He says he wouldn't want to resort to using a gun anyway, but he's working to get his gun rights restored.
I'm not here to rely on having a firearm.
We asked him about situations like this. A Botetourt County deputy chasing a murder suspect last December, getting out of his car and pulling out his gun.
You just have to deal with these situations as they unfold. I mean, I'm not going to back down from anyone at any time.
The Botetourt County Sheriff's Office won't hire a felon if they don't have their rights restored. But Stowell isn't asking them to support him. He's asking the voters to side with him on issues like decriminalizing marijuana possession and supporting all people when they leave jail.
If you take somebody like me who's well educated and basically have my life together, and I still have a hard time re-entering society, imagine somebody that doesn't have all the advantages I have.
He has been an activist since he was a teenager and is a YouTube content creator with thousands of views.
Stowell says he will campaign more starting next week. He believes he can win. In Botetourt County, I'm Tommy Lopez, 10 News, working for you.
3 Republican candidates for Botetourt County Sheriff, all right here at the top of your screen, all with law enforcement experience, will face each other in a primary next Tuesday. The winner will face 2 independent candidates in the November election.